Bryce Harper has just agreed to terms with the Philadelphia Phillies for a new record $330 million contract over 13 years.
You how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Oh, it happened. It finally happened. I thought the Dodgers, the Giants, anybody I was looking, I thought they were going to save the day. But no, Bryce goes to the Phillies. Why? Oh, Bryce, what are you doing to me, guy? I want to root for you, but now I have to hate you, and it's going to be for such a long time. I never get to root for Bryce Harper, like, his entire career. I just have to hate him. And you pick Philly? Bryce, Philly? Have you been there, Bryce? Cheesesteaks. You must be a big cheesesteak guy. That's got to be it, right? Philly? I mean, granted, they gave you a lot of money. I get that. 13 years, $330 million, a new record for the most money ever given to a player in a contract. Bryce, you got sunny LA, you got San Francisco, which is, it's not Philly, and you chose Philadelphia. Why was I being led on this entire offseason that you didn't want to go there when clearly you've been waiting for them to just, for this offer? Bryce, I'm so disappointed. This one's gonna hurt the Mets in the long run, obviously. Mets fan. I don't want to see him go to Philadelphia. I don't want to go see him Washington. It's not the end of the world for us Mets fans because you still have to play all 162. The games have to be played. You don't just get wins for having the best team on paper. But this definitely makes the Phillies much more of a threat to the National League East, especially the Mets, than before because Bryce Harper in that lineup does a lot of good and not a lot of bad. Now, like I said, 13 years, $330 million. Big Johnny Heyman. I was hoping he was hitting the sauce today when he tweeted it, but John Heyman wasn't playing games. He broke the news. Bryce to the Phillies. Past few days, like I said earlier, we've been hearing that the Dodgers are making a serious push. The Giants met with him on Tuesday and are making a serious push, but it looks like it wasn't serious enough because he's obviously ended up in Philadelphia. This move probably hurts me more than if he were to have gone to the Yankees. I mean, like, I would have preferred Bryce on the Yankees. Is that possible? Because now the Phillies are really just going to be a pain in our butts this season. They're going to be annoying. They're going to be good. Like prior to this move, Phillies are the fourth best team in the National League East, but getting Bryce is a serious move here. I really am surprised. Now, I'm going to start talking about the move here and stop maybe, giving my overreaction. I'm still going to overreact a little bit because this is a move that's big for Major League Baseball, let alone the National League East, let alone the Mets. So, we got a lot to talk about here and we're going to get into it. So, let's get going. Bryce Harper has broke the Major League Baseball contract record, 13 years, $330 million to the Philadelphia Phillies. It's finally happened. It's over. One positive about this is I can go outside, I can hang out with friends, I don't have to be around a camera 24/7. I can enjoy my time because besides Kimbrel and Keuchel, which listen, if they sign, I'm going to make a video on them still. But I don't need to be around and ready to hop on those immediately, where with Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, you kind of were killing my social life, so I guess I can go out and talk to people and have friends again. That's one positive. But the negatives are just, they're so much worse. It's such, you can see, I'm not happy. So let's talk about the contract here. Broke the record for a free agent signing contract, which Manny Machado just recently broke with that 10-year, $300 million deal. But I think more importantly, which is kind of why you get the structure of this deal and why you understand it more, is that he broke the record of all time, any contract whatsoever, which was previously held by Giancarlo Stanton, who signed a 13-year, $325 million deal with the Miami Marlins. Of course, Harper, 13-330. And that seems to be what Boris Harper and the Phillies did. They went off the Stanton contract and they were like, all right, let's just go ahead and beat that. That seemed like what the goal was for Harper with this contract. Now, what's interesting here is how good of a deal I think this is for the Philadelphia Phillies. I think they did a fantastic job doing this. Now, yes, 13 years is a long time, and Bryce Harper is most likely going to end his career in Philadelphia. He's 26, going into his 27-year-old season. 13 years from now, gonna take him till he's about pretty much 40. So I don't see Bryce Harper playing anywhere else the rest of his career except Philadelphia, especially with that no trade clause in his contract. And from everything that I've been seeing on Twitter, Bryce is like, it's Philly. That's gonna be it for me. That's where I'm gonna end my career. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to be here for the long haul, and that's how it's gonna roll. But what's great for the Philadelphia Phillies is 13 years, you're gonna have a lot of great years of Bryce Harper, still so young. You've probably got 7, 8 really good years left in him, and then after that, it's just all bonus at that point. Some people are gonna knock that they signed him for 13 years, saying, oh, you're gonna be paying a guy who's gonna be 36, 37, 38, 39, $25 million a year. But I think the way you have to think about it is you're gonna be paying a guy who's 26, 27, 28, 30, who's going to be in the prime of his career, an MVP candidate when he is on. You're going to be paying him $25 million when you just saw Manny Machado getting $30 million a year. You just saw Nolan Arenado getting $32.5 million a year. You've seen guys like Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols get more money annually than Bryce Harper is, and those guys signed in their 30s. And you're getting Bryce Harper before he even turns 30. You got him for at least 3 or 4 years. So I think Philly did a fantastic job with this contract. Yes, 13 years is a very long time, but the fact that they're only paying him $25 million a year, in my opinion, is an absolute steal. And here's why. I pulled up the Phillies payroll for 2019. Prior to the Bryce Harper sign, they had about $42 million in tax space. Add another $25 million onto there for Bryce Harper, they're still over $10 million under. And listen, I get, I'm going super far in advance here, and I'm thinking years out. But if Mike Trout hits the free agency market, they're still going to have some money to spend on him, and they will have the possibility to get Mike Trout and Bryce Harper in the same outfield. And I think that's what the Phillies were thinking by giving him this 13-year contract. It spreads the money out over a longer period of time. I think 330 was always going to be the end number for Bryce Harper. It was going to be 330 or bust. You weren't going lower than that. But I think the Phillies thought smart and went 13 years because it breaks out the money a little bit longer. As opposed to paying him 33 a year, you have 25 years. So you're saving about $8 million every single season. That $8 million can be put towards a guy like Mike Trout, or put towards other players that are going to be hitting the free agency market, or put towards keeping some of their young players for a longer time. Not to mention they have JT Realmuto, who's coming up out of contract. I mean, you got to think of it almost as if they saved $8 million a year for 3 years. I think it's a fantastic job by Philadelphia here. And that's what makes me even more angry as a Mets fan, is everything seemed to work out for the Phillies in this scenario. Now, yes, Bryce Harper's coming into camp, a couple weeks late, but at the end of the day, he's a natural-born player. He's been working out all offseason. He's ready to get it going in there. You're not going to see a problem with him because he missed a couple weeks. And the Phillies, man, they just keep getting better. Now, their pitching, in my opinion, is still a little bit on the weak side. I'm not crazy about that starting rotation. I know some people will disagree, but I don't think that starting rotation is anything to talk about just yet. A lot of young guys, a lot of potential, but they haven't shown it just yet. But that lineup is looking a lot better with Bryce Harper in it. JT Realmuto behind the dish, Rhys Hoskins at first base. You got Gene Segura going to be playing shortstop. Maikel Franco, we don't know what we're getting from him yet. He proved a little bit better last year, but is that really going to be what we see? Got McCutcheon out in the outfield, a little bit older, but again, an okay player, pretty good. You throw Bryce out there, you got Odubel Herrera, you got Nick Williams, you got some other players that you can plug in there. Now, I'm not a huge Nick Williams fan, I'm not a huge Odubel Herrera fan, but getting a guy like Bryce Harper lessens the load, lessens the pressure for these guys to perform at a higher level than they're really capable of. So, yeah. Little upset. Definitely going to make it a lot harder for the Mets, but not only the Mets, it's going to make it harder for the Nationals. It's going to make it harder for the Braves. The National League East is going to be a slugfest this season. I cannot wait to see the battles between all 4 of those teams, because really, it's going to come down to the wire. I'm not surprised if we see the winner of the National League East with under 90 wins, because they're just going to be so close. Every team has improved this offseason. And for us Mets fans, it's not doomsday just yet. Yes, Bryce Harper's back in the division. That absolutely sucks. I would have preferred to see him out west. The Phillies aren't as good of a team without him. But here's what I have to say to us Mets fans, and even Braves fans, Nationals fans, why it's not doomsday just yet. The Nationals had Bryce Harper last year and were definitely the best team on paper. And what did the Nationals do? They didn't make the playoffs. Go back to 2015. The Mets won the National League East, beat the Nationals, had a huge comeback against them, got to the World Series, and the Nationals had a great team back in 2015. So I said at the beginning of the video, and I'll say it again, you still have to play all 162. Of course, you want to have a stronger team on paper than others, because when it comes down to it, it's about consistency. It's about being consistent for 162 games, and having a deeper and better roster helps you achieve that better than teams who aren't as good. But you still got to play the games, and we have seen plenty of teams in the past have a great team on paper and not succeed at all. San Diego Padres back in the day. Remember when they signed all those guys? Bad season. So I'm not saying that the Phillies are going to be terrible. The Phillies are going to be very good. But I don't think it's their division to win just yet. The National League East from 1 to 4 is going to be an absolute battle. And you know what? I think my Mets are ready to go for it. I think we're still going to be able to compete. I'm still very excited for this season. I can't wait for the first Mets-Phillies game that I get to boo the hell out of Bryce Harper, even more than I did when he was a National, because, whoo, Bryce, you're pissing me off, man. Going to the Phillies? Come on, bro. But this is huge. This is huge for baseball. We got a new biggest contract of all time, so that's huge. That's breaking records. That's making history. We've got a huge long contract, 13 years. Who would have thought prior to this deal that we would have seen anybody sign a 13-year deal again after the Giancarlo Stanton debacle? I mean, 13 years, 330? that's nuts when you see it on paper. That's like video game type stuff. Honestly, I don't think MLB The Show even lets you offer 13-year contracts. It's crazy. But the Phillies, they've been talking about it all offseason. Stupid money. I was hoping they'd go 0 for 2. They missed on Machado. I was really hoping they'd miss on Harper because, like, that'd just be a great mean. Stupid money, and they didn't get anybody. But they got their mans. They got Bryce Harper, and I'm disappointed in you, Harper. I'm disappointed in you, Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm disappointed in you, San Francisco Giants, Nationals, everybody. How do you let him go to the Phillies? So, while, you know, I'm not happy, it's kind of a relief. The offseason is almost over. We have spring training going. The games are starting. The regular season getting so close. And now we can kind of stop this huge circus that's been, where has Bryce Harper been going for what, the last 4 or 5 months? He's in Philadelphia. I don't like it. I'm upset, but it's not over yet. We still got to play the games, and I still have faith in my Mets, which, you know, that's going to come back to hurt me, right? And all you Phillies fans, I've been giving you a ton of crap this offseason, so please give it back to me. I deserve it. I can take a little bit of, I'll take, what do they call it, a spoonful of medicine? I don't think that's the right saying at all, but my brain's all flustered. But basically, go ahead, give me crap, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube comments. I deserve it. I've been giving you crap all off season, so it's time for you to give it back. I know how it works. I'll allow it. And if you're a Philly fan, you should be absolutely pumped. You should be ecstatic. This is going to be a really exciting season for you. He's just signed Bryce Harper to 13 years. He's going to end his career as a Philadelphia Philly. When you look back at the history books, he's going to be a Philadelphia Philly. People will talk about him with the Nationals, but it's going to be about how the Nationals couldn't keep him and how the Phillies got him. The Harper saga is over. I'm not happy. I would love to know what you guys think about the Bryce Harper move down in the comment section below. Do you like it? Do you hate it, Phillies fans? I'm sure you're popping bottles right now. But you know what? For baseball, it's great. The National League East is gonna be absolutely nuts. I can't wait. I can't say it enough how excited I am for this baseball season. And I hope you guys are too. So leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. You're gonna be getting a lot of baseball stuff the rest of the year. So don't worry. Just because the biggest free agents are done now doesn't mean I'm done. And that's gonna be it for this video. YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not seen them yet already. Thank you guys for watching. Bryce Harper, your mortal enemy #1 now that you're on the Phillies. I hope you have a terrible season. I hope the Phillies win 20 games, but that's not going to happen because you're a stud and the Phillies are a pretty good team. Bryce Harper, why?